Haven't streamed for a little bit. It's been a minute. But I'm here, we back. Let's talk about some tank trinkets. Let me respond to some whispers right quick. Alright. I always feel weird talking on stream, going on stream with like no viewers, but I know probably, hopefully, some people will watch this back, so it's all good. I don't know why I'm not set in Wrath, so yeah. I'm sure I'll get some back end views, but you never know. Let me turn the music down a little bit before I get started here. Where are you? There we go. Alright. Yeah, just a tad. I bet. Alright, so I wanted to make this a stream video instead of, hold on. So yeah, I want to make this a stream video instead of like a recorded or a scripted thing because one, I feel like it's just a lot easier to talk on stream, especially when you're talking about like tank stuff because it comes really natural. Second, I'm really bad at scripting videos and writing scripts and all that, so it would have took a lot more time to write a script down for each trinket and stuff like that. And I kind of did that with my other videos. I did a phase 1 trinket list. I did an Old War 10-man trinket list. I never got to a 25-man one, but for this kind of video, I'm just going to do 10-man, and then for another stream, I'll do 25. But yeah, ICC is coming. We are going into, the 9th week of TLC, so it ain't too much longer before you see ICC on the PTR. I'm estimating about 2-3 weeks. I don't think Blizzard is going to cannibalize the success or the launch of Hardcore, right? That's coming next week. That's next Thursday. Don't think you're going to get too much. Then I think Gamescom is the end of this month. I don't think we're going to get an announcement there, so we're safe there. But yeah, if we're going into the 9th week, I would say probably got a good 4 to 5 weeks, so like a little over a month before we get a release date for ICC. We'll say that because Blizzard kind of likes to do the PTR testing, and then they'll give you like 2-3 weeks of PTR, and then the announcement will come like 2 weeks after, right? So that's what we're going to see. And there's a lot of bosses to test in ICC, right? TLC was really quick. It was only 5 bosses, and they really only needed tests, in my opinion, for things like a Nubarak and, faction chips and shit like that. But ICC has 12 bosses, and one of the more infamous ones, the Lich King. So it's gonna be a lot. But enough about that. Let's talk about some of these trinkets. So, unlike TLC, ICC has a lot more tank trinkets to offer for us tanky boys, and I'm happy about that. So in this stream, I'm gonna go through the 10-man ones, and probably in another stream, I'll go through the 25-man ones. And we'll figure it out. Actually, no, I'm bugging. In this stream, I'm going through the 10 and 25-man ones, but just for tanks. Another stream or another recorded video, I'll do casters, I'll do physical DPS, I'll do healers, something like that. But this one is just for tanks, both in 10 and 25. So in 10-man, I'm pretty sure there's only one tank trinket that comes out of ICC 10-man, and that comes from Professor Putricide, and that is the unidentifiable organ. So there is, obviously, just like TLC, there's a heroic and a normal mode to ICC. All of the ICC bosses have a hard mode and a normal mode. Heroic mode doesn't change the items, it just changes the item level. So as you can see, like the shoulders here, they're 264. So 10-man heroic items are the same quality as 25-man normal items, if that helps out, if that's easier for you guys. So think about it like that. But so here we have a trinket that has a passive armor. It's on heroic, it's 2128. On normal, I think it's 1890. Let me just double check. 1890, yeah. And the equip effect is each time you get struck by melee, you have a 60% chance to gain 24 stamina for 10 seconds. For the next 10 seconds, stacking 10 times. Obviously, it refreshes on chance if you get hit. And to be honest, this is a really good trinket. And I think it's like one of the first ones. It's like the first one that has a stacking stamina component to it. Normally you see stacking intellect, you see stacking MP5, you see stacking attack power, but not too much stacking stamina. So it's kind of unique in that regard, and I think it's like the only one that does that for quite some time. I can't really remember off the top of my head of another trinket that stacks stamina. So that is definitely a uniqueness, and like the effectiveness of this trinket is going to vary, because if you're fighting something, right, that requires a tank swap, you could lose your stacks as you wait for your next time to tank, because it's only a 60% chance on hit. So there won't be 100% uptime when you're swapping tanks. But beyond all that, I'm gonna switch to heroic. Beyond all that, it's a good trinket. This trinket really speaks to like blood DKs and feral druids, because it's just basically an effective health trinket. It has a lot of armor, has a lot of stamina. Not saying that it's bad for warriors and paladins, but because druids and death knights both have a lot of armor and stamina modifiers inside their own unique toolkits. Like, I'm on my death knight right now. I can kind of put this to the side and show you. Yeah, frost presence, we have 8% increased armor value. We also get fortitude. That's not it. We also get toughness. 10% increased armor value. So get a couple stamina modifiers. I think all tanks have some sort of stamina modifier. We get veteran of the third war. Frost presence is a stamina modifier. So yeah, blood DKs and feral tanks really like this trinket because it just boosts them. But this is a good all-around trinket. Like I said before, you're probably going to see some varying usages out of this trinket, just depending on the fight, but really good trinket here. And I'm pretty sure this is the only tank trinket that comes from 10 man anyway. Let me just scroll through this real quick. I think I am correct. Yeah, this is the only trinket that comes from 10 man. Let's see. So yeah, let's go on to a different trinket. Actually, let's do the badge vendor one, because that's a really good trinket too. What am I looking for? Collections, frost. There we go. Trinket list, and here we go. So the corroded skeleton key. So this is another good trinket. This is probably gonna be one of the first trinkets you get, because it's so easily accessible. What we're gonna do is purchase it. It costs 60 frost emblems, or at least it says it's gonna cost 60 frost emblems. Who knows if they're gonna change that cost? I don't think they would though. I mean, 60 is pretty okay for a trinket of this power. Like, it's not low, but it's not super high. So I would say if you're struggling in the trinket department, make sure you save up for this. But yeah, it has 228 stamina passively and an on-use effect giving you a absorb shield for 6400 damage, basically a powered shield every 2 minutes, right? So it's just a really good effective trinket, simple in its usage. It's going to stop a lot of damage. 2 minutes means you're going to get multiple uses out of it, so it's a pretty good trinket here. Like I said, I think the value of it is kind of warranted, even though it's 60. 60 is a lot, but I mean, what else really are you buying, right? Like the badge gear is okay, but this tank trinket I think is worth it. And then we're gonna go back to the ICC thing. And like, yeah, 10 man, there's no other tank trinket besides the unidentifiable organ. Like I said, I'm pretty sure. I do one more once over. This is not that's not a tank trinket. That's not a tank trinket. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If I forget, I'm sure somebody in the comments is gonna let me know. But anyway, let's go to 25 man. And let's start. I think the first trinket comes from Gunship, and that's the Corpse Tongue coin. So this trinket has 2 equip effects. The first one, increasing your dodge rating by 152. The second, melee attacks which reduce you below 35% health, cause you to gain 5712 armor for 10 seconds. Can't occur more than once every 30 seconds. So 5.7k armor every 30 seconds or so. Not a bad trinket at all. And I see a lot of people like kind of turn their nose up to dodge rating or armor. And there's 2 things I want to mention when it comes to both of those stats. Number 1, please remember that we're getting Chill of the Throne, which is going to reduce your dodge by 20%. If you've never raided ICC and you don't know what Chill of the Throne is, it's basically a raid-wide debuff. Let me see if I can bring it up on the side here. But it's a raid-wide debuff that just reduces all dodge by 20%. It's kind of like that Sunwell Radiance buff, the hidden buff that we had in Sunwell, where players had reduced dodge and bosses had an increased 5% chance to hit. Luckily, that increased hit chance isn't in Chill of the Throne, but keep in mind that you are going to lose a massive amount of avoidance. So when you see things like dodge rating on items, don't turn your nose up at it. So let me just see if I can bring it up officially. And if I'm not mistaken, they never like reduced Chill of the Throne. It's just like it never went down to 10. It never went down like to 5. It's just it starts at 20 from beginning to end. I know it gets removed in Cataclysm, but it doesn't really change that much. And I have it here. I don't think I need to pull it to the side. I'll just leave it there for now. But anyway, yeah. So don't turn your nose up at it. The good thing about the Corpse Tongue coin is the short ICD, and like I said before, like it gives you a lot of armor. So again, armor is another thing that people kind of like. They don't know. I guess they don't know how to gauge the usefulness of armor, and that's fair because I think people tend to think that stamina is the end all be all, which it kind of is, but they think that it's it's overshadowing a lot of other things because you can actually see stamina, right? If you have a piece with more stamina than currently what you're wearing, you're gonna see your health move up. And that's the same for armor, right? If you get a piece with more armor than what you're currently wearing, you're gonna move up, but you can't really feel it. Like you're not. It's hard to gauge usefulness of armor. So what I want you to do is think about armor as a lesser scaled version of stamina because they both do the same thing. Armor and stamina increase your effective health pool. The more armor you have, the less physical damage you're taking. Helps your health pool. The more stamina you have, the more hits you can soak. Helps your health pool. If you're trying to do like a 1-to-1 value, I had a spreadsheet on here. I don't know where it's at now, but anyway, like for avoidance, think of armor like this. So for every 1 point of stamina, that's like 12 points of armor. And for every 1 point of armor, that's like a tenth of stamina. It's like 0.08 or something like that. So think about it like that. Like every like 10 armor is worth like 1 stamina if you want to look at it like that. Or every 11 armor or every 12 armor is worth 1 stamina. Think of it like that. So armor is not bad. So but going back to this trinket, the reason why this trinket I think is really, really good, even though it doesn't have stamina on it, is because for fights where you're taking a lot of physical damage and you could be dipping low, fights like Festergut where he has a whole bunch of stacks and he's just rocking the tanks, this is a really good trinket. 30-second ICD, the armor's going to pop, you're going to get that massive boost of EHP, and you're going to be cool or at least stable for the time being. So don't turn your nose up at the Corpse Tongue coin. It's a really good trinket. And let's look at the next trinket on this list. This is going to be a short stream because there's not really a lot of tank trinkets in ICC, but there is a few that need to be talked about. And I think after the Corpse Tongue coin, the next trinket for real, to me, is the best trinket in the game, and that's the best tank trinket in the game, and that's Sindragosa's Flawless Fang. Gives you 228 stamina on normal mode anyway, with an on-use effect of increasing your resistances to almost all schools of magic by 239. I say almost all because Holy's not on there, and like that's kind of a thing. People don't normally resist Holy damage. So, but anyway, this is a really good trinket. This is basically like for tanks that's not Death Knights, like a poor man's anti-magic shell. It's gonna give you a lot of magic mitigation for 10 seconds on a short cooldown. And honestly, I would arguably say this trinket, like if you get this trinket, this is the one trinket that you don't remove. Like once you equip it, you just start tossing around other trinkets in the other slots. But this trinket, I think, is the mainstay. You don't take this one off. You leave it on there and let it do its job. And as you can see, on normal, it has the same passive stamina that the Corroded Skeleton Key has, right? So 228. So that's why I think that other trinket, the Skeleton Key, is really strong because, again, it has the same stamina value as Sindragosa's Flawless Fang. So if you never see this trinket, the only other way to get a passive 228 stamina trinket is by buying it. So that trinket is really powerful. Don't sleep. But let's look at the heroic version real quick. Heroic version, the stamina goes up to 258 and the arcane resistance goes up, or the magic resistance goes up to 268. No change on the cooldown. So yeah, best tank trinket in the game to me. Definitely don't take off, don't remove, don't do anything. Really good trinket. And I think that's it for the trinkets that come out of ICC. for tanks anyway. Um, if they're Yeah, I think I covered it. There's not too many things. There is one more tank trinket I will talk about there's two more, but one more that's of importance that I'll talk about, and that's the one in Ruby Sanctum. That is the Petrified Twilight Scale. So this comes from Halion, and now after that live, we know now that Ruby Sanctum won't be its own phase. It's gonna come at some point after ICC. So you can plan on, have your guild plan on that however they want to. But talking about the Petrified Twilight Scale, this is on heroic. Let me switch that to normal. Boop. All right, so this is like the inverse of the Corpse Tongue coin. Instead of giving upfront dodge with the proc on armor, it gives upfront armor with the proc on dodge. Pardon me. Which may or may not suit your needs better, right? But again, let's look at it. So we have 2282 armor and the equip effect. Once your health is below 35%, you gain 733 armor for 10 seconds. This can occur more than once every 45 seconds. So it's 15 seconds longer than the Corpse Tongue coin. So by that regard, the Corpse Tongue coin might be a little bit better. But I think for just taking upfront damage, like for, fights that you might have low avoidance, like this is a good trinket. This is a good trinket to take into battle with you. So again, Corpse Tongue coin, Petrified Twilight Scale, kind of the inverse of each other. Both basically do the same thing. So take what you will with that. And then the last trinket I'll talk about is an honorable mention. It comes from the Pit of Saran heroic, and that is, I think it's the second boss. Yeah, this is the last trinket I'll talk about. I'll give it an honorable mention. Ix Rotting Thumb. So this gives you an equip effect of 113 dodge rating, and on use is a Battle Master use. Increase your maximum health by 4.1k for 15 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. So it's basically like Citrina Scarab, right? So this trinket, you can quote unquote farm this trinket if you want. To me, it's not too important, especially if you've gotten things from Old War and TOC, like in on my gear setup. Why do I have Marcus of Primacy equipped? I might have been pugging something. So let me see. Where are you? Here it is. Boop. Heart of Iron. So yeah, this is my normal tanking setup. The dodge rating, even though it's going to be good in ICC because we're going to get that chill of the throne. Like if you look at my stats right now, let me throw on a Horn of the Winter. So this is unbuffed, just unbuffed. That 28.43% probably goes up to 29 with my Agi buff. That goes to 9%, right? That goes to 9% in ICC because of Chill of the Throne. I'm going to eat my food real quick so we can see. So having 9% dodge is going to be spooky on Blood DKs and Feral Druids, because dodge is the most, that's where we kind of have a lot of our mitigation from. Death Knight's can at least parry, and a lot of our parry comes from our gear because of strength, but losing that dodge, because dodge to me is the best avoidance stat, it's gonna hurt. Like, you're gonna be hurting. So I think that's why right now you should kind of take your time to beef yourself up. Like, I know TOC is pretty much a joke. Let me see, I got my food buff. Yep, food buff. Yeah, I'm at 28.75. I'm probably at like 32, 31, 32 when I'm fully buffed, but we'll just say like fully buffed in ICC, I'm gonna have 10% dodge, which is scary. That scares the hell out of me. So keep in mind on all these trinkets, you're gonna want to beef up. You're gonna want to make sure you're fully equipped, because you're gonna be taking the hits, and you might have to, depending on the guild that you're in, you might have to like slowly retrain your healers on how to heal you, because you're just gonna be taking more hits. That's just a matter of the facts. So keep that in mind. But as far as Ix Rotting Thumb goes, it gets an honorable mention just because it's a tank trinket and it's coming in with the phase with ICC. So I want to throw it out there. I want to talk about it. I don't think there's really any other trinkets like from any of these other dungeons, like Halls of Reflection. I don't think has one. Nope, that's not tank. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the Fort of Souls has one either for tanks anyway. Nope, that's a DPS. That's armor pen. Yeah. So Ix Rotting Thumb gets the honorable mention, but I mean, I probably won't do Abyssless, but if I had to pick Abyssless for Blood DK in terms of trinkets, I would say the two probably best trinkets are the Skeleton Key and Centricos's Fang, in my opinion. I think those two. Let me just pull up the Skeleton Key again one more time. Nope. What am I looking at? Side rail essence. Nope. Frost boom. There we go. Yeah, I think between the skeleton key and the fang, you're getting just a lot of upfront stamina and two really good on use effects. Like you can't really beat either of them. And normally I'd be against, I wouldn't be really against, but I'd be cautious to use two on use trinkets, but I'm using two on use trinkets right now, so I'm kind of used to it already. So yeah, for blood DK, I would probably pick the corroded skeleton key and Syndragos's Fang. However, on the way up to Syndragos's Fang, I would probably go with the unidentifiable organ from Tin Man. That one, because that one's gonna fuel your death strikes too. Like, right, because I'm gonna be taking more hits, I want to be able to keep, help the heals and keep my health up. But the corpse stun coin is gonna work. I probably, if I do get all of these trinkets magically, right, I'm probably gonna use the corpse stun coin on Festergut until I'm comfortable enough with my gear, until my other gear slots kind of match up to the strength of the trinkets. But I think corpse stun coin is just a little too good on fights where you're just taking physical damage, and the corpse stun coin just meets that need to me, in my opinion. Not to say that unidentifiable organ Jesus isn't a bad trinket, but I think the corpse stun coin on some fights just kind of outwins it. I think the organ is probably best on like Marigar, where both tanks, or if you're using three tanks are soaking the hit, so there's not really a tank swap, right? So that's a pretty good trinket for that. Gunship is another good fight for this trinket because you're either tanking ads or you're tanking the boss on the other ship, so you're not really losing stacks there. I'm trying to think what's another good fight for this one. Blood Council, you're either tanking the boss that people are killing or you're tanking the other one. So this is unidentifiable organ is good for those kind of fights where your tank uptime is pretty high, because then you could just max out the stacks. But on fights like let's see, Lich King, I guess Lich King, like second phase Lich King, because first phase you're dealing with ads, so you're probably gonna get some uptime there. But like second phase Lich King, where there's no ads and you're just swapping off of like Soul Reaper, you probably don't want to use this trinket. You probably want to use something else. So for me, I'm probably shooting to get the corroded skeleton key from vendors and the Syndragos's Fang. Syndragos's Fang, I think, is the mainstay. You equip, once you equip that, that's it. That's all she wrote. The other slot you can swap stuff in and out. But yeah, that's really it for tank trinkets. So it might not seem like a lot, but trust me, when you're comparing it to TLC, where we got one new tank trinket and our other base trinket still comes from Old War, it's like, oh well, I guess this is it. So that's really it for this stream. I don't think I have too much else to talk about. I might do a stream where I talk about more blood DK stuff in regards to ICC. Actually, I'm probably gonna make videos about that, but for the most part, I think that's it. I think that's it. What the hell? Oh, sorry, I had to check something. Anyway, I think this was good. I feel a lot better doing this than doing, a recorded video. I was just having a tough time, but yeah, this is good. Not a lot to talk about. I think the next video I do in stream regards will probably be DPS trinkets, because we're all gonna want to talk about, where is it? Oh, this is 25 minutes. We're all gonna want to talk about Deathbringer as well. We're all gonna want to talk about certain other trinkets. So the next one will probably be physical DPS trinkets. But that's really it for my stream. Just wanted to do a quick stream just to talk about tank stuff, because I love to tank. And that's really it. Hopefully I get some views on the look back here. Always, like I said in the beginning, so always feels kind of weird talking to a stream with no viewers. But like I said, I know I'm going to get some stuff on a watch back. So if you are watching back, or if you did tune in, thank you, appreciate it. But that's it for the stream. You guys have been great. I've been Soul, and I'm out. Big peace.